I had money, real money. The kind of money that makes people smile at you even when they hate you. I had cars, not one, not two, but cars people stop to stare at. Bikes, businesses, nightclubs, power, respect, fear. In 1 year alone, I made over $1 million. And yet, every night when the engine noise faded and the streets went quiet, something inside me screamed. Not loudly, not violently, silently. It asked one question again and again. Is this it? I never answered it. I buried it under speed, alcohol, women, violence, and ego. Because in my world, thinking was weakness, feeling was death. I was raised to believe power was everything. From a young age, I learned that if people feared you, they wouldn't hurt you. If they respected you, you controlled them. By 14, I was already inside the streets, selling, delivering, watching, learning. Clubs welcomed me like royalty. Bouncers protected me. Police looked the other way. I walked into places I legally shouldn't have been allowed to enter, and no one questioned it. I carried weapons not because I wanted to use them, but because someone eventually would try to use one on me. And they did. I've been shot more times than I can remember clearly, point blank, not from a distance. Once in the head, once through the ribs, once near my spine, millimeters from paralysis. Every time I survived, I felt invincible. And every time I survived, I went deeper. More money, more deals, more enemies, more emptiness. That emptiness, that's the part nobody tells you about. You can have everything and still feel like nothing. I had a family, a wife, children. But even when I was home, I wasn't present. My body was there, my soul wasn't. The streets owned me. Then came the deal, $20 million. The last one, I told myself. Just one more. That's the lie every man tells himself before he loses everything. We met, we talked, we drove. Something felt off. I noticed it, but I ignored it. It blinds you. We stopped near a park. He said he wanted to get out there. My son stepped out of the car to say goodbye. They were supposed to be friends. 1 second. That's all it took. A gun pressed into my son's chest. A sound I will hear for the rest of my life. The world stopped. I pulled him into the car. He looked at me. He said one word, Baba. Then the gun turned toward me. I slammed my foot down. Shots. So many shots. I didn't feel the pain. I only felt him. Blood everywhere. I tried to save him. I begged him to breathe. I screamed. I prayed. For the first time in my life, not out of habit, but out of desperation. I didn't know how to pray properly. I only knew how to beg. Oh God, please. The ambulance came. The police came. The world moved on. My son didn't. They told me he died instantly. Shot through the heart. He died protecting his father. And I lived. That guilt, that weight, that darkness. There are no words for it. I was taken to the hospital, chained. From the hospital to prison, high security, isolation, silence. No power, no money, no respect, just walls and a mirror. That's when life finally spoke loud enough for me to listen. Prison strips everything away from you. Not just your freedom, your excuses. There was no one left to blame. No streets, no enemies, no noise, just me and my thoughts. They locked me in isolation. Concrete walls, cold floor. Time that moved slowly, painfully slowly. At night, the silence screamed louder than gunshots ever did. That's when the memories attacked. My son's eyes, his voice, that single word, Baba. It replayed again and again and again. I wanted revenge. Don't let anyone lie to you. I wanted blood. But something stopped me. Not fear, not law, something deeper. One day someone left a Quran in my cell. I didn't know why I picked it up. Curiosity, maybe. Desperation, definitely. I started reading without expectation. Then I reached a verse. It said, everything is written. I stopped. I read it again and again. Everything is written. In that moment, something inside me broke. Not in pain, in release. The weight on my chest, gone. The knot in my stomach, loosened. The rage, quiet. I started crying. Not the weak kind of crying, the kind that cleans you, the kind that empties you so something else can enter. For the first time in my life, I didn't want power. I wanted peace. I didn't want revenge. I wanted understanding. I realized something that day. I was never in control, not of money, not of violence, not even of my own life. And somehow, that truth freed me. I held on to the Quran like a rope hanging over a cliff. Below me were wolves, my anger, my guilt, my past, my grief. They jumped, trying to pull me down, but I held on, every day, verse by verse, word by word. That rope saved me. I stopped asking, why did this happen? And started asking, what am I meant to become? That's when my faith became real. Not cultural, not inherited, not borrowed, real. I prayed, not because I was told to, but because I needed to. I bowed my head, not out of fear, but out of relief. Years passed. I changed. Not overnight, not magically, but truthfully. Later, my mother became sick, very sick. Cancer, stage 4. I brought her close to me, and I didn't argue with her. I didn't force anything. I only asked questions, the same questions I once avoided. Who did Jesus pray to? Why did he say not to worship him? Why does God need intermediaries? She listened. She thought. One day she looked at me and said, Jesus was not God. My heart stopped. She said the words of faith, perfectly, without hesitation. And then Allah gave her the most beautiful ending, peaceful, dignified, honored. She left this world in prayer. If that isn't mercy, I don't know what is. Today I look back at my old life and I see it clearly. That lifestyle promises everything and delivers nothing. No loyalty, no peace. Just graves and prison cells. If I hadn't changed, I'd be dead or buried alive behind bars. Instead, I wake up grateful, not rich, not powerful, but alive, aware, at peace. If you're chasing money thinking it will save you, it won't. If you're chasing respect through fear, it won't last. If you're chasing happiness in darkness, it doesn't exist there. I've been there. There is no pot of gold at the end of that road, only silence and regret. But if you're lost, if you're broken, if you think it's too late, it's not. I was at the bottom, and I was lifted. Not because I deserved it, but because mercy is greater than sin. That's my story, not to impress you, but to warn you and to remind you. Even in the darkest cell, light can find you if you're willing to look up.